Overcoming Fear Lessons from Nick Vujicic's Journey. Are you ready to dive into a journey where fear doesn't hold us back? Nick Vujicic's life story is a testament to how we can transform our fears into powerful tools for growth and success. Let me tell you this. Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear? Have you ever stood at the edge of a cliff, looking down, feeling too scared to take that first step? Well, Nick Vujicic faced his own fears, and he did it in a way that transformed him into a global motivational speaker and author. Here's something you should know. Nick was born without arms and legs. He was born with a rare condition called trisomy 21, which is also known as Down syndrome. But let's not focus on the limitations. Instead, let's look at the incredible journey that Nick has taken, filled with lessons on overcoming fear. You might be wondering, how does someone who started out so differently than most face their fears and conquer them? Let me take you through some of the lessons I learned from Nick's journey. One of the most striking things about Nick's story is how he turned his challenges into strengths. He once said, "I didn't choose my circumstances, but I chose how I would respond to them." This quote encapsulates his philosophy on facing fear. Nick didn't see himself as a victim of circumstance, but rather as a person who could choose his attitude towards adversity. He used his unique situation to inspire others and became a beacon of hope for those struggling with similar fears. In one of his talks, Nick shared a powerful anecdote. He described how he used to dread going to school because he knew he'd be teased. But instead of letting this fear control him, he decided to embrace his uniqueness. He began to see himself as a different kind of artist, someone who could create art without traditional tools. This shift in mindset allowed him to overcome his fear of being laughed at and eventually became a successful artist and motivational speaker. The next lesson we can learn from Nick is about embracing vulnerability. Many of us tend to hide behind masks of perfection, afraid of showing our true selves. But Nick showed us that vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength. He opened up about his struggles with depression and anxiety, and in doing so, he inspired millions to do the same. He taught us that sharing our struggles can help us connect with others and find support. Here's a direct quote from Nick. "When we are brave enough to let ourselves be vulnerable, that is the moment that change happens." Nick's openness about his mental health challenges helped him build a community of supporters who understood and empathized with him. He encouraged people to be open about their fears and vulnerabilities, saying, "We need to stop judging each other based on our outward appearances and start seeing each other as human beings with stories worth hearing." By being vulnerable, Nick not only overcame his own fears, but also empowered others to do the same. Another critical lesson from Nick's journey is the importance of persistence and perseverance. Despite facing numerous challenges, including bullying and discrimination, Nick never gave up. He believed in himself and his ability to make a difference. His persistence paid off when he was invited to speak at the United Nations, becoming the youngest person to do so. Here's what he once said, "You don't have to wait until you're perfect to start making a difference. You just have to start." This quote resonates deeply with many of us who feel stuck in our comfort zones, unsure of where to begin. Nick's example shows us that taking small steps every day can lead to significant progress. He shared that he started writing his first book while sitting on a bench at the beach, with no plan other than to get the ideas out of his head. Persistence is key, and it's something we all need to remember. Lastly, let's talk about the power of gratitude. In an interview, Nick shared that he often thinks about the things he's grateful for, even in difficult times. Gratitude helps us maintain a positive outlook and fosters resilience. It reminds us that there is always something to be thankful for, even if it seems insignificant. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we can find inner peace and strength. Nick once said, "Gratitude is the beginning of wisdom. It's the foundation of happiness and the path to inner peace." By cultivating a sense of gratitude, we can shift our focus away from negative thoughts and onto the blessings in our lives. This practice not only improves our mental health, but also enhances our relationships and overall well-being. So here's something you should know. Nick Vujicic's journey is a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to overcome our fears. We may face different challenges, but the principles he embodies, strength in vulnerability, persistence, and gratitude, are universal. Remember, fear is just an illusion created by our minds. By acknowledging our fears and facing them head-on, we can transform them into catalysts for growth and change. In conclusion, Nick Vujicic's story teaches us that fear is not something to be feared, but rather a stepping stone to self-discovery and empowerment. By learning from his journey, we can unlock our own potential and live more fulfilling lives. So let's embrace our fears, learn from them, and use them to shape our destinies. Here's to overcoming our fears and creating a brighter future for ourselves and everyone around us.